Okay, wait. I know. Okay, hold on, wait. Shit, I thought we were on screen. Okay. God, I'm not a director.
Always something.
Because it's here's the thing. We have to push go live. We have to have the banner up. Then we have to be on mute. Then we have to start that video. And then when the video's over, we have to be.
We can't remember everything.
I can't.
It's like, remember those days, Seth, when we were just surprised that it was on? I think part of us got like, we're on. And now it's sort of like, we've got it. And yet we really don't.
Well, it's the 85th show. It's embarrassing that we still don't know how to start it.
Is that what it is? I took this little thing here. That's what Jeff Corder had said.
All right, Jeff Corder said to dress the set.
Right. So I don't know if it's going to be distracting the whole time because we just realized it actually is going to different.
Right. It's actually it's mesmerizing. By the way, we have to wait. Why are we acting like everybody knows what's happening? No. So I'm Seth.
Yes. Oh, I'm James Wesley. I'm married to this one.
This clown. And this is Stars in the House, which is twice daily. By the way, semi-daily means twice a day, but semi-daily means to me once in a while.
Yeah, we had a press release and it said semi-daily or something.
And I was like, how dare they? And then I looked
it up. And then you're the one with the almost perfect SAT scores.
Oh, stop. Not at all.
And then it was like, oh, it's actually twice a day.
Who the hell knew that? Anyway, we're at 2 p.m. Eastern and then 8 p.m. Eastern every single day.
That's right.
And every Saturday now, it's Chita Rivera and Friends.
But what is it tonight, though?
Oh,
come on.
Chief cook and bottle washer. So yeah, it's a celebration of the Rink. But let's just talk about what we're raising money for. So, yes, we do this for the entertainment reasons. And what's delicious is that people really do watch all over the world. I mean, crazy all over the world. But we would love you guys to also donate, if you can, to the Actors Fund, which is a misnomer, which is an SAT word. And what it means is that the Actors Fund is not just for actors, it's for anybody in the arts.
Anyone in the performing arts, the Actors Fund is there for you if you need help, which is basically almost everyone right now. If you need help with your rent, to pay your utility bill, a health insurance premium, a medical bill, anything like that. If you are in need of help, go to actorsfund.org. However, if you can help, and every bit counts. I think the minimum donation is $5.
$5.
Go to Seth.
You go to Stars. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to starsinthehouse.com. You're going to make a donation. 5 seconds later, you're going to get a receipt being like, "Thank you for donating." Forward that receipt to starsinthehouse2020@gmail.com, and then we're going to make a little list of some of the donations, like 7 of them, and then we'll send it to one of the stars tonight that will read them on roller skates. So you go to starsinthehouse.com, and then you email that receipt you get, starsinthehouse2020@gmail.com, and then we're going to read it out loud.
Okay. Before we go on, because I know there were people that are watching tonight, because we have regulars who are watching the play this afternoon. So
yeah, we had technical problems.
We had technical problems, not to that degree. So let's just say it's. I don't think it's the end of that play yet. Meaning, stay tuned for a revival of a revival of a revival. But
I'm going to be
really
clear.
Wonderful.
We had technical problems. The cast was amazing. We've never had technical problems before. By the way, sometimes the snow comes down in June, maybe because it snowed today.
Yeah,
but
we'll
literally,
talk to Chita about
Leslie Uggams' computer shut down. So anyway, we're going to bring the whole cast back.
And her daughter, I just got through talking to her publicist, Jan, who was so wonderful in connecting us. And let's just put it this way. Leslie Uggams' daughter is getting Leslie Uggams a Wi-Fi booster.
Which is basically like my Wonder Bra. Anyway, the point is we're going to bring back the whole cast to do Blithe Spirit again. So
beg them to come
even
back.
though, I mean, it was still great. But anyway.
It was still great. And it was still, people were, again, watching all over the world.
The play was awesome. Yeah, I know, but we want it to be perfect.
We want to see.
But Blithe Spirit was so good. But anyway, we want to see Leslie all the way through. Hey, look. Oh, my God.
What?
You're watching in Scotland. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning.
1 a.m.
1 a.m. in the morning. Well, I'm very impressed. Well, look, someone from the Elizabethan era commented, Huzzah.
Okay.
Renaissance Fair. In conclusione,
So
by the way,
yes,
hold on.
what's up?
Thank you for getting my joke, by the way, the roller skate joke about the Rink. Because James was blank faced. Thank you,
I was
Broadway.
probably already thinking about the next thing I was going to say.
Wow, you got to focus on my words. All right, here we go. So it's a night of Chita Rivera.
Yes, and we do. Dr. LaPoop will be here. This
to answer
evening.
your medical questions.
That's right.
And also just talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
So here she is, the lady, the legend, the two-time Tony Award winner who has originated basically the best roles ever on Broadway. Please welcome our triple threat of the night, Miss Chita Rivera.
Hello.
Hi, Chita.
You have to slow down. I can't hear every word. I'm like this, barm, because you have so much to say, and it's all so valuable. And you are so excited that you speak too fast. Okay?
I know people always say that, but at this age, I don't think it's really going to change.
No, you slow down when you're. He has to be reminded. That's all.
He's what?
He needs to be reminded. So maybe the Saturday.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Speaking of slowing down, Chita Rivera, why don't you talk about what Laura Benanti told me? Laura Benanti told me that she was coming out for bows during 9, and she was sort of almost embarrassed to take a bow because she's like, oh, I don't want to bother anybody. And she would do a really, really quick bow and run off stage. And she told me that you sassed her. What did you tell Laura?
God, you kidding? First of all, I never missed one of her performances because I stood in the wings on stage right, and she was so gorgeous and sang so beautifully and so passionately that I didn't want to miss it, because even at this age, you still learn. And so she would take these dumb bows like, I'm sorry. Sorry. What are you sorry about? I said, so I grabbed her arm when we took our bow, and I pulled her down. And I remember Liza taught me this. She said, hold it, Chita. Hold it. And I said to Laura, hold it, Laura. Hold it. And just show the top of your head. Just bow and take that applause, which you absolutely deserve. So she kind of learned a little bit.
Well, she told me you were such a loudmouth. She said that you basically demanded it had to be 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. And every time she tried to fake it, she would start bowing, and she would hear you in the wings going, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
She's making the story better than what it is.
Hey, wait a minute, Chita. So did Liza teach you that during the Rink?
Yeah, she did.
What were you doing that she thought that you? I cannot believe that you needed correction.
People in the theater we're very brazen and very outgoing when we're hiding behind characters, and we love it. We're free. We're absolutely free, expressing this person's feelings, whatever. And when it comes to you, you're kind of embarrassed. You know, I think most actors in the theater are shy, really. You know, I mean, we either talk too loud or we don't bow enough because it's us. That's why when Fred Ebb and John Canner wrote my nightclub act, they said, okay, after Chicago, when Fosse had his attack, they said, okay, we're going to write a nightclub act. And I went, I can't do that. I mean, I can't talk to an audience. Chita, I don't know who I am. So Freddie wrote every single word. But then after years, he saw that I had become myself.
Oh, I love that.
He then trusted what my choice of dialogue, because you can't take advantage of the audience either. You know, you have to, I mean, it's all timing and all planning and all organized. But it was Freddie and John that made me realize who I was. And it took time, you know. So she's there now. She knows who she is. And, you know, it's beautiful. But don't you agree with me about us?
We know Angela Lansbury said that to me, such a name drop. But I said, why don't you ever do your own act? And she was like, I could never, ever be myself on stage. Like, I can only be a character. It's so interesting.
Yeah. when of course she can.
I know, but theater people are shy. All right, so wait, we gotta focus.
Yeah.
So wait, so what happened? Who called? Did you say
that's what I want to know.
Yeah, did you say to Cantor and Ebb, please write me a show? I've always wanted to be in a roller rink. How the hell did it happen?
Well, I think this one, I think it was written for. No, I guess it was written for Liza. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Well, it was written for both of us. And I remember clearly standing in front of Liza in one of these wonderful scenes, and I'm playing her mother. And I'm looking at Liza, and I am playing Judy. First of all, I'm not old enough. I want to go, well, which one is going to play the mother?
Yeah. Well, you had worked with Judy Garland.
Oh, my God. I mean, that was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. There it was. It was like working with Gwen. All of a sudden you say, oh, my God, that's Gwen in front of me. Well, here, I can remember which side. She was on my right side, and it was Judy Garland. And she was so relaxed and so beautiful. And by the time I did the Rink, Liza was a friend and sweet friend. And I idolized her. I thought she was absolutely extraordinary. So it was a joy and a blessing to be standing there singing these amazing lyrics, funny, passionate, angry, all kinds of emotion in that particular show. And eventually, she splits, and I have all these great guys, as I always do in my shows, and they're on roller skates, and they skate around this rink. And so ask me some questions.
Well, hold on. I have a question. Going back real fast before we bring the guys on, regarding the Judy Garland show, because you weren't there as a character, you were there as Chita. I mean, and you were younger, obviously, than you were when Liza gave you this advice. So it's like, how did you deal with your nerves, or were you nervous going on the Judy Garland show?
Well, I think you're always nervous, and I think the nerves are a good thing. I think it comes under the title of awareness, in the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely, you don't want to miss one thing. Not when you're sitting next to you've got Mel Torme over, who writes the most amazing, arrangements you could possibly, and you could listen to him sing for all night long. And then you've got Judy Garland, who's acting like she's on the same level as you are, down there.
Wow.
She just brings you up. And then Louis Nye comes on. Louis Nye, who's a great comic. And then he's so funny that I want to be as funny as he is. So I'm learning all the time. That's what I tell the kids. You learn all the time from we're learning about this, aren't we? We're going, oh boy.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Well,
Still learning.
You were talking about the anger. I have a little clip. This is where people don't know the story of the Rink. It's basically about Chita Rivera, who owns a roller rink. She has a daughter. Her daughter skips town. Chita's forced to sort of take over the rink herself. And finally, she saves some money. She's going to close the rink up. And who shows up again? Her daughter in overalls. Thank you. And Chita's like, why the hell are you bothering me? You dropped me. Why are you back? And Liza needs bothering.
By the way, Seth, people didn't like Liza not in her sequins every single second. Really. I mean, it's so absurd because Liza is a great actress.
Great actress.
And she was brilliant in this show. And when they saw her in overalls, they were kind of like, oh, Liza in overalls, And finally, at the end of the show, we had to please them a little bit. So Halston made two amazing red sequin dresses for us. And I must say, by the end of the show, we felt as though we deserved it,
Yeah.
But during the play, we had to be these amazing characters. So isn't that, aren't people funny?
Yeah. The same thing happened to Angela Lansbury when she was touring in Sweeney Todd. People were annoyed that she was Mrs. Lovett and Dumpy and that she wasn't Mame. It's like a different character.
Yeah.
Well, I found a clip of you telling off Liza because you've had it with her. Here we go.
Mommy, the sign on the apartment doesn't say Salvation Army because it don't. Mommy, I've heard it all your life and I don't need to hear it now. Mommy, it wasn't before. I just walked through the door and right away you start fighting curse that bullshit. Mom, I thought there'd be some tears. After all these years, you might have mellowed some. Jesus, I thought I might be calm, maybe jolly you along, but believe me, I'm not calm, and believe me, you were wrong. To the sound of your hello, be like music to my ears when I haven't seen your face in what is it, 7 years? So you walk back in my.
Lisa.
You know what I gotta tell you about that dress? That's a Theone Aldridge dress. That dress I had to wear through the entire show, which was awe-inspiring because you can't tell, but I go from, I'm guessing the age now, but I go from a young girl to an older woman who has a teenage daughter, and I never change my. I love that. I love that. It all depends on each section of the creative team to come through with what they do best. And Theone put me in that dress, and I was in it all the whole night, and I felt my age. You know, and that was combining material, costumes, lighting, the whole thing.
Yeah, you had to dance in it. It had that big slit so you could show the gams off, but it had to also look like a normal everyday dress. I'm just saying. Okay, we got to bring on the boys. So you were backed up by all these men who've gone on to such fame and fortune. It's so exciting. But back then, they were just the gypsies in the chorus. So please welcome our own director himself, Mr. Scott Ellis. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, guys. Hey, Chief.
Look at Scotty.
Mwah.
Oh, you look so great.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you. And you too. Both of you. All of you. So great to be here.
Too late.
How's Daddy? How is Daddy?
He's good. Scott's here. The kids are here. We're in Florida, and everyone's doing great. I saw Chita recently at the that wonderful family equality dinner that she was there. So she saw the kids. She hadn't seen them for a long time. So they're doing great. We're all doing great.
How old are your kids now? 10?
They're 10. They're 10. Yeah, 10 years old.
Scott, how do you think they'd feel if they looked over their left shoulder and they saw their dad in a dress with a blonde wig?
Sugar. Her name was Sugar. How could you forget that?
Every single night. I was hysterical because this guy, who was such a guy, was dressed up in this cute little dress. What was your name?
Sugar. Oh my God, Sugar. Well, and I had a little Southern accent, and I was just as sweet as could be. And one time, guys, she turned around when we were, I don't know if you remember this, but you turned around one time and said to me, "That is the busiest skirt on Broadway." Because I was behind dancing. And I literally, I went right back to you and I said, "And I learned it all from you." That's right.
You had to be in drag during the Rink?
Yes, of course. We all actually, we all did. I think Jason did too, but we all did. And my character was Sugar. So we all played these different characters. And I think pretty sure everyone played a woman at one point. And mine was Sugar, and she was a Southern. She had gloves, and she was a pink dress, and she was just the sweetest little thing. Just a little sweet.
It's so cute. I caught pneumonia with that skirt.
I was flipping that thing, just flipping that skirt all night, right behind her too.
So this gentleman and dear friend goes from Sugar to directing and being absolutely brilliant at that. You know, it's really exciting because we did Drew together.
Yeah.
And
And we've done so many readings and stuff.
was,
And it just was unbelievable. Guys, I'll tell you this, on the first day of Drood, I talked to the whole company. That was an incredible company in the revival. And I told them my story of being cast in the Rink, which basically started my career as a director. But excuse me?
What's the story of you being
Well,
cast?
the story of being cast in the Rink was we all went through all of these auditions, and Graziella was a choreographer. And I remember the one time, one of the final callbacks, or it wasn't a final callback, it was the dance call, and she told us to improvise. And I could do a robot. I barely can move now, but I could do a robot. And I remember doing this whole improv of a dancing robot, and then I looked right at her and went, and I remember her looking at me, and I thought, ooh, I think I got her attention. And then we all went down to the Roxy for the final callback, and they had to see if we could skate. And so I went in and I turned to the stage manager and just said, there were just a few of us here. There weren't that many. And I said, where is everybody else? And they said, no. If you can skate, you're going to be cast into this show. And I knew at that moment I was going to get my first Broadway show because I was a hot dog roller skater. I could skate. I could shoot the duck. And I thought, oh my God, I just got my first Broadway show. And when I was going to tell you, on the first day of rehearsal, I sat there and I cried. No one saw this, but you have Candor and Ebb, you have Chita, you have Liza. I mean, that incredible group. And Chita, for the first day, gave us little crystal animals. And on the first day of Drood, I introduced everybody and I said, the most special thing is to be here with Chita, who I started my first Broadway show with as an actor. And I pulled out the mouse, and I had kept that on my desk for 15 years. And I put that in front of me. Remember, Cheese, for that whole rehearsal, I had your little mouse in front of me. So
I sure do. See how I buy my love.
And you want to give me anything you want, Cheats. You have my love no matter what. Dying love.
But you know what? It all comes back. It just all comes back in the theater and in life, when you give it out. And
that family, it just doesn't, it never goes away. The fact that we all connected on that show, and John and Fred, and oh my God, you have moments in your life. And that was a moment that basically changed my life. Totally.
Well, remember we had Mel and Johnson. We had Frank Mastrocola, and
Ron Carroll.
Ron Carroll.
Oh my God, Ron Carroll.
It was a cast that had its own life within itself, and then it had the life it was producing and creating for everybody else.
Well, and remember, we did those workshops too. My God, we were in those workshops for months. I think we did 2 full workshops, and just all the changes in Terrence McNally there and writing. I mean, it was just Jesus for me, from a kid from Virginia. This was something.
Did you have any idea that you would want to direct while you were doing?
I don't think so. I mean, although that's not true, because why it changed me was when I remember being the Martin Beck, and I went up to Freddie, I think at the time, and I said, you all wrote a show called Flora the Red Menace. And I grew up listening to that only because I was fascinated with that period and the communism and all that. I just thought it was such a cool show. And I said, have you ever thought of redoing that revival? And they said no. And I said, I think you should, and I'd like to do that. And they said, have you ever directed? And I said, no, I haven't directed, but I want to direct. And they gave me that. They said, okay.
I remember now. I remember Freddie and John being mad for you, and you did several things with them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then we went on to do World Goes Round after that, because
that put you on the map.
Yeah, and we just because the truth is, guys, we love them so much that and it was Susan Stroman's big success for her with Flora, and Tom Thompson. We just wanted to work with them again, and we came to them and said, hey, how about it? So
Yeah.
Let me bring in your other two castmates. You have, of course, the man who asked you to marry him with a beautiful song, the wonderful Jason Alexander.
Oh,
yay,
Hi, dolls.
yay.
I fell in love with Jason every single night. I was at a bar on stage right.
Hmm.
Dancers always remember where they were. You know, they just know where they were on the stage. They may not remember the words, but they remember where they were.
Sure.
And you started to sing. And I remember the quietness that you and Freddie and John put me through. I became so silent and so peaceful when you sang that song. And I believed every single word of it. And it was just beautiful.
Well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, there was one performance where you weren't so silent, and it was the funniest thing I've ever been through in my life, because we were 6 months into the run, and Marry Me is actually a very simple song. It's, marry me, marry me, marry me. A little bit of dialogue, and then the orchestra would swell, and you come back in with, so marry me. It's the same lyric.
Right.
And we had been doing it for months, and one performance, I did the first half, I did the dialogue, the orchestra swelled, and I went, I have no idea. And I started to hum for a second.
That's
And
right.
you on stage went, it's the same lyric. You just like went, dummy, same words, idiot, same words.
Can get repetition at times. Yeah, yeah.
And here's the man who covered a lot of you, and then he went on to direct some independent films. Please welcome Rob Marshall. Hi, Robbie.
Hey, Robbie.
Oh,
You look so fabulous.
oh my God.
I haven't seen him in so long. You've got two directors. You've got three directors here now.
Actually,
You're a little
And,
ahead of me.
Yeah. Well, you're too busy making a lot of money. in
Yeah,
California.
constantly.
let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Can I just say,
Rob.
Scotty, that was, honest to God, the busiest show on Broadway.
What do you say?
It was the busiest skirt on Broadway. I just flipped.
Honest to God. So, I just say, when Cheetah was doing the jitterbug, and when a few times when I was on with her, she would check behind her, what in God's name? We were flipping that thing like a crazy woman.
Wait a minute, Scott. Were you like? Did you have like a big blonde wig on?
Yes, I had the blonde wig and the pink dress.
He looked great.
I don't know how you could have missed me.
I thought that was a
No,
woman. I just watched the clip. That was you.
That
Yeah.
was me.
So, Rob, I think this is actually you dancing with Cheetah. So watch this clip. It looks like it's you. And Scott, I think it's you that's shocked when Cheetah goes
No.
dip.
Oh my God, I would be so happy.
I think this is it. Let me see if I have it. Okay.
I have to see
This
that.
is it, hold- Before I go on, Rob, isn't that you?
Yeah,
That's right.
that's Frankie.
Oh, shit, like you. Okay, well, let's keep going. Scott's there. Wait, is that you clutching your pearls?
Clutching my curls with the white gloves.
Wait, we have to watch it again. It's so over the top brilliant.
No.
See how close he got to you, Cheetah. He walked right up behind you, Scott. Did you see that? Just like invading your space while you were dancing, right behind you. Did you see that?
Get out of my way.
I thought the hand was for us. It was for him.
You were
But
killing
I
yourself.
have to tell you, this guy, you've heard this story before, but this guy, because I still get life out of this line, he was so good. He would jump in whenever he had to, and it was perfect. So this time Frank was out.
Oh,
And
God.
I mean, that was wasn't that a hot jitterbug?
You-
I mean, it was
You were
fast.
amazing. People waited for it all night because it was the big dance number for Cheetah.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to see Cheetah dance, and she blew it
Well,
out. The ovation was huge every night.
Yeah, but you got very fancy one night. And you decided, let me see what I can break at Cheetah's. So I think I'll break this finger.
Oh,
So,
God.
no, but the point is, I've made a joke out of it. But the point is, we were moving so fast,
No,
and
so
the number was so intricate that when my finger broke, I looked at him and I said, I'm never going to forget this. And when you become a big star, a huge choreographer, I said, I am going to tell every audience I know that's in my theater, I'm going to tell them that you broke my
it
finger.
was so horrible, Cheetah. It was so horrible. We were doing, Seth, you'll love this because Seth knows dance. We were doing Shanae turns past each other. So
Right. Oh, yes, that's right.
it was right at the end. Fast traveling turns.
Move
Boom.
your arms.
And I smacked her. We connected. I felt it so big. Boom. And then, do you remember, Chidi, at the end, I did a big knee slide across to you, and we met,
That's
right?
right.
And then there was
That's
a long ovation. And under your breath, you literally said, "You broke my."
See, chorus dancers can do that.
Oh,
Dancers
Chidi,
can
I was 23. I thought it was going to drop dead. And then you had a cast. You just won the Tony. You had a cast on your, finger for the rest of the run.
Yes, but look at you now.
oh, God.
It's so exciting.
Hmm.
Look at the three of you. I mean, you two too. But I mean, the three of these guys. We've had such a history together, and to see them grow like into what they've become is really frigging exciting for me, because I have all those memories and I have those to look forward to, and I could not be happier. I'm so happy for you.
Cheetah, I mean, there is no way I can speak for all three of us. And I said it, literally working for you. I don't know. It's one of the highlights of my life. And that is, I'm not bull sitting right now. That is one of the highlights of my life, to have worked with you and still know you. That's
True, Jason. I mean, we all felt that way, Chidi. And because, you are here. You're the hero.
Yeah.
You're the hero, and you're the one, and we watched you like a hawk. And the discipline and the joy and the fun and the dedication and the passion you brought every single night to your tour de force. This was a tour de force for Cheetah.
Yep.
Wait,
Unbelievable. The performance, I'm telling you, every night was exquisite. And what Cheetah was talking about, that incredible range she had, where she was playing a young girl to an older woman. In 1 second, in one split second, she would be this age and then she'd be this age. It was so intricate. And
But that's when it all blends, when every department is doing what they're supposed to do.
it was all about your performance, Cheetah.
Well, yeah, I have to.
And you got your Tony. You got your Tony after way too long. Remember what you said to us? You said, "I'm finally going to buy the bottom of the dress."
I know. You got to hear this. First of all, one year I went with a Halston dress, and it was all beaded and gorgeous. And I went to stand up just to be introduced. And I stood up, and the top of the sequin jacket had clutched the bottom of the skirt. And so it stuck, So I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. And then I went so many other times because I was nominated and never won. So when I finally got the Tony, I said, my opening line, and Freddie must have given it to me. I said, I'm so glad I wore the bottom of the dress. Because I had this image of me just in this top sequin and nothing on the bottom, like I am now.
I was gonna say that's all of us right now. Okay, wait, we have to take a 2-minute break. We got to bring in our medical correspondent. 2 things I want to say. Jason, I want you to tell your amazing Chita Rivera story about when Liza left, that wonderful story about how brilliant Chita is after we get back. And everybody, we keep getting donations. I want to make sure everybody remembers. I'm collecting them on my phone. Starsinthehouse.com, then forward the email to starsinthehouse2020@gmail.com. And I'm still collecting them. Okay, so we're going to bring in Dr. LaPook. You guys take a break. We'll bring you back. Bring you back. See you soon. And now our chief medical correspondent, none other than Dr. John LaPook.
Hey guys, happy Saturday. It is Saturday, right?
I know.
Well, so there's stuff. You gave me some questions from viewers.
Yeah.
And one of them is Julie from May 6th. Is that your Julie or some other Julie? It's an IE, so I don't think it's your Julie. We've been told we couldn't afford the E. We've been told that 20 seconds of soap and water will kill the virus on our bodies. Does the same hold true for washing other objects? So yes. Don't make your clothes washing more difficult than it has to be. Just warm water with soap will kill it. Remember that the virus has a lipid membrane, and it just goes away like that with soap and water, which is why, again, I know we've said it a million times. You can start to forget it now. It's so long, but it's 20-second soap and water. Keep your hands under your chin. We're seeing now people going out and having premature celebration. We saw it out in Central Park.
Right.
If you are going to go outside, I don't care if you're antibody positive. We don't know that the antibodies are protective yet. So you have to do everything you always did, which is 6 feet apart from other people, wear the mask, wash your hands, cough into the crook of your arm. I keep wanting to say into the arm of a crook. I'm going to say crook of an arm. And keep your hands under your chin. I love that study that showed that 23 times an hour, people, Australian medical students who were secretly videoed, touched their face. This morning, so some breaking news. Again, you guys get it before I get a chance to put it.
There has to be an advantage to doing a show twice a day, John.
I know, it's crazy how many times I've done this. Sorry, CBS News, but it's a promo. It'll make people want to watch the segment. So Monday night, we're going to do a segment about the fact that, guess what? They are going to be combining. There's a new study. Remember, remdesivir was shown to be effective alone, but went 15 days to 11 days in terms of a hospitalization. Not good enough. And they're learning the lessons from AIDS, from AZT in 1986, where it was shown to be effective, but not effective enough. And they ended up having these cocktails of medicines, several of them together to treat AIDS. Well, they're going to do the same thing for coronavirus, and they're doing one of the first trials that just started, like literally yesterday or today, to combine remdesivir with another medicine that it's what's called an immune modulator. It's a JAK inhibitor, and what that does is it throws water on the inflammatory reaction. So it's a 1-2 punch. If the virus replication, remdesivir stops viral replication, but if that doesn't work well enough and the virus gets into the cells and starts to do its nasty thing and cause inflammation, remember that's one of the big things that does too much inflammation, then you throw a bucket of water on it with an immune modulator that dampens down the immune system. And the last thing I have to say is this issue of confusion about asymptomatic spreading and testing. Okay, we can't say this enough. If you get tested every single day of your life and it's negative, you can still have a window where you get infected and you are asymptomatically shedding and infecting other people. So 2 to 14 day incubation period. Let's say, God forbid, I get infected 5 days ago. It's brewing in me. It hasn't come out yet. A test is going to be negative. I could get tested 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 1 day ago, negative. Right after yesterday morning's test, it comes out, and it's suddenly in the back of my nose and my throat, and I'm shedding virus, and I'm spreading it to other people potentially. I don't have any symptoms yet. We know that can happen. Often happens a day or two, maybe even a little bit more before symptoms, or you may never get symptoms. And then the next day I get tested, and suddenly I'm positive, and I go, oh, I wish I had not been out for the last day. So, you've heard from various people that they get tested every day. We're hearing that from the White House. Yes, that'll tell you you don't have it, but it doesn't tell you that you're not shedding it in that little window. It could be, if it's a day, it could be a day window where you're spreading it to other people. So anyway, it's just something, it's very easy. I will say it's hard to get your arms around that, right? It's a little confusing.
But so you stay home and wear a mask.
If you can. But here's the thing, Dr. LaPook, it's sort of like the equivalent of with the testing. It's like what you said about wearing gloves, that it almost gives you a false sense of security, that, oh, if I wear gloves, it's fine. And you get lax. And so you touch your face accidentally. And I feel like, so that's one. Number two, I feel like any, at least gay man over the age of 40 who came of age or was older during the time of AIDS knew that if you were going to be sexually active, an HIV test, you could get, it doesn't give you like a get out of jail free card.
Right.
You know,
be negative, but
you
still
could be negative, but
you
could have gotten it a week ago or 2 weeks ago. It's to me, it's completely mind-boggling that people just think a test is enough. I mean, and that you can kind of do what you want.
I love that analogy, which I hadn't thought of before. Thank you for that, which I will use without attribution. And I wonder, I would love to know, is there a difference between people who were around during the AIDS epidemic, the height of it, and the younger kids who weren't, about that awareness that you could be incubating it? You could have a negative HIV test, pick up HIV, still not be testing positive because it's going to take a while for that to happen, and then spread it to somebody else before you realize that you're HIV positive. So that's I'd be so interested to know whether there's a difference between younger kids and older generation who lived through it. But that's a really good analogy.
James.
And, you know, it's hard. It's really hard to keep it in mind because right now everybody's so itching to get out there. And there's a difference between the test that you're taking that's negative for you. That's great. If we all had a test every day, that would make us feel better if it's negative. And the fact that, are you potentially spreading it to somebody else? Two different things.
That's why you have to wear the mask so you don't spread it to anybody. And by the way, someone just said, please tell everyone the damn mask has to be over nose and mouth. Is that correct?
Did you see the mask where somebody put a hole in the mouth?
To make them breathe easier.
To breathe easier.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we keep going over the science of it.
Yeah.
Your threadlet droplets, the virus is in the droplets. You touch your hands on wherever the virus is. Virus can live a day on cardboard, 2 or 3 days or more on plastic or metal. You touch it. You put your hands to your mouth and your nose. The simplest thing that you can do, if you can only do one thing, is don't touch your face. But it's really hard, which is why you have to wash your hands so that when you accidentally touch your face, you don't go.
Exactly.
Right.
Wash
Okay.
your damn hands.
All right.
All right, you'll
Thank
be
you
back.
for coming.
Thanks
We'll
as
see you next
usual.
time.
Thank
Bye,
you,
guys.
Luke. He's always so great. And now let me bring back the stars of Cheetah and Friends, Mr. Scott Ellis, Mr. Robert Marshall, Mr. Jay Greenspan, and Miss Chita Rivera. Okay, so I was requesting, Jason Alexander, for you to tell that story you told last time on Stars in the House, because I want to hear Scott and Robbie's version of that evening.
Well, hopefully they remember it the same way I do, because age is a terrible thing. But this is what I recall. And Cheetah, of course, I echo what both Scott and Robbie were saying about you being not only a thrill to work with, but in my case, and I'm sure in theirs as well, you became a role model for me for life about what a true professional with a heart, how they comport themselves in the business. And I remember saying, after this story I'm about to tell, if I'm lucky enough to have a career, I want to grow up to be Chita Rivera. So there was a policy that when I'm sure either of you, but if Liza missed a performance, the audience could get a refund. They could leave and get a refund or a ticket from another night if they didn't want to stay. And there was one performance where there really were very, very few people in the house. My memory is something like maybe 100-ish. And Peter Lawrence must have come down to you and said, "Hey, Cheat, there's not a lot of people in the house. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this performance if you don't want to." And the first thing you said was, "Well, if we don't do the performance, will the boys be docked an eighth of their salary?" And Peter said, "Well, yeah, they would." She said, and you said, get the boys, bring them down. And we all came into your dressing room and you said, "Here's the situation. There's not much of an audience and we could just, bag it, but you'll lose some money. Or we could do it And I think maybe Mary Testa had recently come aboard, hadn't had a real put in yet. And you said, you know, the other thing we could do is we could do it and we'll treat it like a really wonderful put in for Mary, so she feels strong about it. And, you know, and we could go out, we'll have fun. I mean, it's a loosey-goosey show and we always have fun out there. And we'll just, if we do it, we'll have a really good time. And we all kind of went, yeah, let's go. But, you know, and the energy sort of rallied to, yeah, let's do that. We'll have our fun. And you must have caught a hint of that. And you said, but remember one thing, the people that stayed. Give them our show. And I sat there and went, here's this woman who, you know, you're a one-woman show. You're enough to fill 20 theaters, but you've got a very sparse house. They tell you that, and your first reaction is you thought of your colleagues first. Your second reaction was you thought of your audience. And I went, I don't know who this woman is, but this was a lesson in how you comport yourself as a professional in our industry. Please remember it, Jason. And I always have. And I have always held you in I do a Q&A story on the road, and you are one of the stories I tell, exactly the story, because it has meant so much to me all my life.
Wow. See, this is when I need the hook.
But Scotty, Robbie, you may not have been there, but Scotty, do you remember this?
Yes, I actually do. Yes.
I remember it too.
I absolutely do.
I mean, it's just who Cheetah is.
Yeah.
That's why we all feel the same way about you. Cheetah, you know that. You know that.
Well, you know, life is not over. So, look, everything works. Let's see. So, let's do something again.
Cheetah, let me just tell you, darling. Robbie threw me a bone with Cinderella. Scott has done nothing for me. Screw the both of them. You and I, we will go do love letters in the gym game. We don't need them. We don't need them.
And you're a fabulous director too. Can I do you remember this one story in rehearsal? I don't know if you remember this. We finished a run through. We were at 890. AJ Antune, our director, when it finished, he said, I just want to say that from now on, people will say Chita Rivera is an actor first. Remember that? And then Chita said, thank you, AJ, but that's not true. I will always be a dancer first. Do you remember that?
That's right.
Do you remember that, you guys?
That's right.
It was the most believable, maybe me as a dancer, it was sort of, wow. And she just, thank you, AJ. That's so beautiful. You said that, but that's not the truth.
Yeah, and you know what? You literally talk to these young kids all the time, or I do, and you just say triple threat. You just say triple threat, and that's Cheetah. That's it. Just as simple as that. No better actress, no better singer, no better dancer. It all comes together, and that's who she is. That's who you are.
See, to me, it's like Cheetah will always be a belter first. Like I grew up completely obsessed with Cheetah singing. I want to see if I have this clip. This may be me obsessing about the crazy, unbelievable vibrato on a high D. I think this is the right clip. Let's watch this. Let me see. No, hold on. Where am I? That's her.
That was Scott again in drag.
Hey, that's hilarious.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm texting my friend David. Hold on. So wait, before I go on, let me say this. Rob Marshall, you wound up going from being a swing to choreographing Cheetah in Spider-Woman.
Yes.
What the hell was that like for you to go from like, oh, Ms. Rivera to kick your leg, lady?
Well, that was talk about, I don't know, my entrance to Broadway as a choreographer it's just like what Scott was talking about. I mean, it was John and Fred and Terrence once again, and it was choreographing for my idol. And so, but I knew Cheetah so well. I knew what her sides were. I knew what her best leg was. I knew how she liked to move. I knew what she, instinctively, deeply knew her so well. So I came in Toronto, and we had a whole new show by the time we opened in London. And we re-choreographed the entire show for Cheetah because it needed to be custom made for her brilliance. And that was the most incredible experience. Shocking to be part of that, at that level, but it was, but Cheetah welcomed me and just gave me such confidence.
I love that you gave this crazy Batman to her. Here, let's take a gander. It's so high, Cheetah. I can't even bear it. That's a full layout. It's like Batman layout.
Wow.
Well,
Hey, guys, do you remember Hal being the director and the genius he was in his area? At the end of that number, you guys spun me around, and I was inside the cage, and I would go around the cage violently, holding on, and it was effective. And Hal said, I think I'd like to continue with this scene. Instead of stopping for a hand, I think I'll bring Brent in and we'll just go on with the scene. And I looked at the guys, they're sweating, they're exhausted. Everybody's worked so hard. So I got them in the corner and I said, okay, guys, you spin that damn cage beyond belief. Make that audience applaud. I will hold it at the end and we'll get our hand. And because it was also Hal that said, give the audience what they want. Well, the audience wanted to applaud.
Cheetah's 100% right. She willed a button and the applause every night because Hal wanted to see he wanted to move through back into scene. And I remember Cheetah saying, "What are we going to do? We're going to have to throw the." I mean, we didn't know what to do. Drop the curtain. I mean, it was like, what can we do? And you said, "I'm going to stick that bar," and you landed it. You looked at the audience. You said, "You better." And it was gorgeous. It was a big applause.
Oh, I remember that because I played that on Broadway. It would segue. It's like a dream sequence. It would get all weird.
Yeah, it was toward the end of Act 1.
Right, when it segued back. Wait, I found the clip. So this is Cheetah. So like I said, always a singer first. And what I love is that she sort of feigns like she has vocal damage, and I couldn't possibly sing above a middle C, and then the most amazing D with vibrato. It is incredible singing. Cheetah, watch. Unbelievable. Here, have a listen.
Wow.
It doesn't get better than that.
Wow.
It's a D. Unbelievable.
That's crazy. I love Cheetah's voice too. Love it, love it, love it. From English teacher,
yes,
Birdie. You know what I mean?
Yes, the best.
It is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sound. And I was lucky enough to see Cheetah at the Cafe Carlisle not that long ago. And it's just her singing, and it's so exquisite. She's a brilliant, brilliant singer, and a brilliant.
Also there.
Yeah,
there.
Cheetah, can you talk about doing the Chicago movie with Robbie?
Who, me? What?
Yes, weren't you in it, dear?
Oh.
It was called Chicago, and you were a prisoner.
I begged Cheetah to be part of the film. And Cheetah came up to Toronto where we were shooting. And she was so fabulous. She played an inmate and a little scene with Renee Zellweger where she was telling her the ropes of what was about to happen with the matron. And can I tell you, when she walked on that set, people were so astonished. Of course, there was an ovation the size of I don't know what. And she pulled me over and she said, "I'm going to roll one stocking up and one stocking down for Gwen." Remember?
Yeah, but I look like Cher and drag. I
You mean-
really did. I mean, oh my God.
You mean
You
But
remember?
remember
Yes,
Rob?
you-
Oh, look.
It's-
That's Cher.
Yeah, but
That is Cher in drag. But,
period, you look
but in a
fabulous.
bad drag.
Oh,
But Rob, I remember Rob took me around the set
Mm.
and showed me everything.
Yeah, we went
And
into
he showed me our cell. And I started to get really kind of comfortable, you know. And so at the very end, and it wasn't a terribly long day. I only had one day, right, Rob?
yeah. It was
One
one
day.
It was.
I was ready to do the movie. When
Can I-
everybody stood in front of me and they were going, and I went, what? And they said, oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Chief. And I'm going, but I'm not finished.
Yeah, let's do the number. Oh, you know,
I wanted to do the whole movie.
I called Chidi because I needed to get her blessing about casting Catherine Zeta-Jones. And I said, I did. I said, Chidi, is that going to work? Because I just felt like it's your role. It'll always be your role. And so I just really wanted to make sure that it felt right to you, and you loved it. You were so happy.
Oh my God, it makes me cry. It's so respectful. I love it.
It was fabulous, Rob. I was so proud of you because you're always, all of you are. You're very faithful to the truth and the creative team. You're very faithful to them, and you want to be as close to what they want as you can possibly be. And I really appreciate I think I may have known that, but I love hearing it. I love hearing that.
Great. I'll never forget calling you. Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
And your blessing on the film, you know, because I'll never forget the opening night at the Ziegfeld in New York. And you came on that screen. Nobody heard the rest of the scene. Because the applause went on and on and on and on. It was so stunning.
Well, that's the theater for you. The theater are people that know and appreciate and still are allowed to feel and to figure out, and you're allowed to create and give them these stories. And aren't you glad you're in the theater?
Yeah.
Even though you're in the movies and TV.
Yeah, but
wonderful.
the discipline stays there, like Scotty and Jason were saying. The discipline stays there from what you taught us, Chi.
yep.
Oh my God. Hey, Cheetah, I found the clip of you guys in the Halston outfits. So this went from overalls to literally your pajamas were red Halston stuff.
For 9 months, at least I was never ignored. For 9 months, I gave you free room and board. Your tops, Mom. Hey, I know I shouldn't say this. Oh, be my guest. We're not so very different. I'm real depressed. Well, you move the cheap bag. There's no lovey-tea. You're hoping I'll peep hard, and guess what? I'll pay. The apple doesn't fall very far. From the
Wow.
That
I
was
mean,
a tough.
That was the Tony Awards, wasn't it?
That was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys, were you guys all on the Tony Awards? All the boys? Rob, were you on it too with everybody?
No, I wasn't on the Tonys, but I think we stayed. Didn't you guys skate around or something?
Yeah, we were in the background skating around. Jason, I don't know if you remember, but I think we also didn't we go to Studio 54 after the Tonys and watch it there in the back.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, Liza
Yeah.
did a section back in 54, and we went and did the skating, and then we're brought over to 54, and we watched the rest of the show and watched Cheats win.
Yeah.
A little clip. I was gonna say, wait, before I show the clip, Jason, I just sent you a text to some of the donations I forgot to send. Will you check your phone?
Will I check my phone? Yes.
Read some of the donations I forgot.
Okay, 1 second.
How about the two powerhouse performances on one stage?
I don't like for you guys to witness those two people together. Like,
it was
crazy.
Powerful. It was. I mean, it was electric every night.
Yep.
Liza, you know, I mean, they wrote the show for Cheetah. They did write the show for Cheetah.
Yeah, Cheetah. I know, John, Freddie. They talked about that. It was not Liza. It was you. Yeah. They wrote that for you, and then they went after Liza. Yeah. I absolutely remember that.
We know that.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah,
it was written for Cheetah. It was. I think Freddie said we're getting Cheetah, Tony, and we're writing her show.
Wow, and it worked.
It did.
And it did.
Okay, so here are the donations that you sent me, Scott. Joe from Virginia sent in $25. Kayla from New York, $50. Nancy from New Jersey, $100. Ben from Brooklyn, $50. Howard from California, $100. That was a terrible California accent. Catherine from New Jersey, $1,000 in memory of her mother Anna, and her company will match it. So thank you all of you. That's gorgeous. Awesome.
Speaking of which, Cheetah, will you talk about winning your Tony Award? Speaking of your mom, I remember you talked about that.
Yeah. Well, my mother had just passed away, so she hadn't seen the show, and it was sad. But I was very happy that I was working, and I was, I could hide behind this character and live. Mm-hmm. And when I heard my name, I was in a black outfit and I loved the way I looked. It was very simple. And I jumped up and Liza jumped up. She was right in front of me and we embraced and I walked up on stage. But when I stood up, I felt my mother. And sorry. And mother was about 5'9". She was tall, much taller than me, and she was very graceful. So when I stood up, I took my time. I felt her in me, and I walked up the stairs, and I stood in front of the mic, and it was my mother talking, and I spent a lot of that 30, that horrible clock they've got that goes right in front of you. And I remember I spoke about my mother most of the time. I remember also that I was so involved with my mom and the Tony and the show that I forgot to thank Liza. So do you remember me thanking Liza? At the end of every show, we went back to the theater and, we did our show. But at the end of the show, I would stop the applause and say, ladies and gentlemen, when I won my Tony, I totally forgot to thank my friend Liza. And we just laughed. But it was a magical moment. And I was supposed to have it that year. So and beautiful. I'm very, very grateful.
Your time.
You were supposed to have it every year. God
be honest. Scotty, what was it like for you performing on the Tony Awards for the very first time? And was anyone terrified they were going to topple off the stage with the skate songs? It was a different stage you were used to.
Not me, because I was a hot dog roller skater. That was that. No, no, believe me, we were all terrified. Are you kidding me? We were terrified. And we had and we were off stage and coming on. Yeah, it was frightening. And of course, you told. I don't know. I guess all the guys said we're going to be on the Tony Awards tonight doing this number, and but we keep. Rob was saying it. You just keep circling back, and it was so much about Cheetah and Liza, and being sort of surrounded by those two. It was sort of perfect, and you can't talk enough about John and Fred. They just
yeah.
And the way I think. The way Rink broke a lot of ground too, because in a way, there was no ensemble. Everybody was a principal.
Yeah. Yes.
And exactly right. There was no chorus, and so and that was it was a very small cast, And so what was fantastic about that, it was sort of saying, you know what, Broadway shows don't need to have an enormous dance ensemble, enormous singing ensemble. It can be a sort of small nucleus. And now, and that wasn't sort of the case, you know. Wasn't La Cage the same year? I mean, it was like those kind of shows.
Yeah.
So in a way, John and Fred were really sort of starting a trend of a different kind of show.
And what Terrence wrote and those characters and all those characters were, you know, everyone we played.
It's incredible.
All strong and real people, and oh my gosh,
character gets raped in the show. I mean, it's you know, it's,
yes, that's right. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Wow,
that's where that's where you used, Scotty, your robot.
That's right. That was my robot. That was my robot. Either Chita is either the whatever's going on. I'm just doing something in the background. That's
can I officially? I have to officially thank Scott and Jason. They never missed a show. Thank you, Jesus.
Hey, Rob, remember when you actually were dressed as Sugar one time?
I knew you were doing that up, Scotty.
I think you literally said it looks like Jethro or something. I don't know. You saw that in full makeup and hair. And
then Cheetah said I look like Anita Bryant.
It's not a compliment, dear.
Had a big booth because they were trying. I had more hair in my face just to hide it.
It's seared. I so remember that.
That is the performance that made them think of Mandy Patinkin for the knife. That's where the whole thing was born.
No, it was not pretty. Never missing.
This is Cheat and Lies on the Tonys, then I'll get to you guys. First, I have Cheat and Lies.
Never be a wallflower sitting in the shade, up against the wall, waiting for some boy to say, how about a dad? Never take a chance on it, never even once. Must be a done, waiting for the look and hey, how about a twirl? Not my little girl. You've got to stay, baby, tall and proud. Get noticed by the crowd. Yank, baby, make some fun. And you can be a whiz the way your mama was. And not a wallflower wilting in the night. Hands across the lap, not having any fun at all. Up against the wall. Glued against the wall. Plastered to the wall.
So I'm going to show that. So where were you, Scott, and where were you, Jason, in that?
Scotty, are you on the front? Because didn't we shoot the duck on that one?
I think we shot the duck, so maybe I'm on the front. We all had wigs and hats and everything on, so I'm not. It went by so fast. But I literally watching that right now, I just got chills. I just thought, oh my God, we got to see that every single night.
Here come you boys. Here come you boys.
Yeah, that was
Fabulous.
oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, Scott was the only one of us that started that show knowing how to skate. The rest of us, I had never been on them in my life when I got that show.
God, that was
He was a hot dog roller skater. Hey,
Hey,
before we go, Jason, you were going to do something for a Cheetah.
Oh yes, let me bring it now. This is totally unrehearsed, Cheat. Well, hang on. All right, I have to get this up here, and I have to hear it all. And it's been a long time, but let's try. Here we go. Marry me, come on and marry me. Why not agree to be my bride? I know the neighborhood would give its consent. There's a cutaway I'm dying to rent. The day you marry me, give in and marry me. I really love you. See, we can't go wrong. That diamond in the store, I could pay monthly for if you would marry me. Marry me. Marry me. Yes, marry me. Come on and marry me. Though you don't love me now, you will in time. You may not know it yet, but I'm the best you'll get. Give in and marry me. Marry me. Marry me. And I still mean it.
And I
That was
absolutely will.
gorgeous.
Isn't that beautiful?
You,
Jason, that's so beautiful.
you have
Thank you, love.
And you remembered the lyrics.
gorgeous voice. You.
Yeah, this time I remembered it. Thank God.
I mean, is he gone? He's gone. What?
No, I'm here.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? I should be in there.
No.
Oh, sorry about that.
Set.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, wait, Jason, you got a nice comment. Hooray, Jason remembered the words.
I'm cheating. I wrote them down. They're right here.
I don't have my notes too.
All right, that was so much fun. I basically want to have each one of you back on a separate show, so just stay tuned for a phone call from me. James, any updates we have to get before we go? Cheetah, you'll be back next week. We'll pick what show we're going to do. So Cheetah will be back next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
That's right.
Tomorrow night, we'll have a matinee,
We don't
Mother's
know
Day
what we're doing
special.
tomorrow.
We have a Mother's Day
figure it
special
out.
tomorrow night.
But tomorrow
Whatever.
night, Andrea Martin and Sutton Foster and LaChance and
Charlotte
Deboise will all be tomorrow.
Dog is
Our
going
dog
crazy.
just had it.
So we're going to roll the credits and I'll play some Cheetah music. Yes, ma'am.
Cheetah, go.
Yes, Cheetah?
Guys, I love you all so much.
Mwah.
We love you, Dolly.
You know,
Love you, Chief.
know that.
Love you.
All of this is over. We have to get together, drink, and look at these film clips.
Yeah.
You gotta be reminded of how wonderful. You gotta be. Lisa just played Rio for me that she got on her phone or something like that, and it's Peter Allen's Rio. Well, I must have done it 150 years ago. But then I looked at it and I went, damn, that's good. So you need to have that feeling. You need that. Okay?
Yeah.
I
We
love
give
you
it
guys.
to Cheetah. We love you.
Thank
Love you, Cheetah.
I
Love you.
Love you, baby.
Bye, Jason.
Bye, guys. Good to see you. Stay safe.
Bye. Bye.
All right, we're going to play the credits.
Bye.